What's up, y'all? Robin Lundberg Show back with you, and I want to thank everybody and shout everybody out because yesterday's show was the most successful show ever. Since I've launched this channel, since I've launched these live stream shows, yesterday's was the most watched, most liked, most commented on when it comes to a full show. I was sharing some of the numbers yesterday, and the channel as a whole in the last 28 days is up 254%. The show itself is up 70% in viewership. So I just wanted to show everybody that love and thank you guys for helping out in that regard. And for those of you who are already in here, like John Blaine, it says, "Hey, Robin, what's up, John?" And Crazy Bear 2.0, I don't think I've seen in here before, saying, "Sup." What's up, Crazy Bear 2.0? It's a Suns fan, too. I know I've had my back and forth with Suns fans in the past, so really appreciate you showing up and showing love in here. So I did want to share that with you guys. And we've had a recent run of success. In fact, I don't know if it's the growth of the show or Caitlin Clark or a little bit of both. But, the numbers have been trending way up, and the viewership numbers have been more consistent and going up. And I'm riding. This is Caitlin Clark week. This is WNBA week. I'm not going the other way, considering I'm coming off the biggest show that I've done. And we've got this Caitlin Clark shoe deal since then. And since then, more reaction that I would sum up as another day, another dumbass. Another day, another dumbass. Because we get dumbass opinions and take shared all the time nowadays. Like it's like people don't think and they're just going for reaction and they're just trying to look righteous and the like when they're putting stuff out there. And this is in regards to the reaction to Caitlin Clark's shoe deal and the lack of a signature shoe for A'ja Wilson, who I'm not taking a single shot at. Let me be very clear. I have nothing negative to say about her or her abilities as a basketball player. She is an awesome player. She has been the best player in the WNBA of late, one of the best players over many years, and deserves the utmost respect for her abilities and how good she is as a player. But with that said, and again, this has nothing to do with A'ja Wilson. Was anybody talking about her shoe deal or lack thereof before yesterday? Did you hear a single person ever mention it before yesterday? Ever. One mention. Did anyone ever say it? Did anyone ever discuss it? Did anyone ever talk about it? Did anyone ever say, you know what? A'ja Wilson needs a signature shoe? No. It's again with this nonsense around Caitlin Clark because Caitlin Clark is different. She is a generational change. It is what it is. I got people still in the comments arguing over older videos and when I'm saying about the interest in the WNBA and the residual interest that Clark has brought to the WNBA and the league and women's basketball in general. And there's a reason she got the deal she did, which Shamsa Shariana was reporting today is $20 million. I mean, even the other ladies that have gotten signature shoes, they don't compare. It's not worth, it's not worth looking back and saying these women have signature shoe deals along with Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark has a signature shoe deal. Nobody else does to the same degree. Right? Nobody else does to the same degree. Let me find the picture of, one of these things is not like the other in regards to Wilson. And I get that. Here it is. Here's the throw up of the signature shoes and the women that have them thus far right here. Okay, so you got Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu, Breanna Stewart. What do they have in common? They're all white. We get it. Now, A'ja, by the way, did sell a book. I remember when she was marketing the book. And she also is pushed by Nike in a sense. She doesn't have a signature shoe, but she was part of a shoe line. But when I see these women, first of all, it's disingenuous to include Caitlin Clark along with Ionescu and Stewart, because Caitlin Clark's shoe deal is on a whole, makes theirs look like pennies. And Sabrina is a little different too, because she plays a more marketable position. With Stewie, I guess you could argue it's New York, but I could understand saying, hey, how does Breanna Stewart have a signature shoe deal and A'ja Wilson doesn't? I could at least, I can understand that thought process, but we're acting like these things are the same and anyone ever talked about that before yesterday. No one knew that before yesterday. No one knew that. No one was throwing that up. No one was sharing this information or this outrage before yesterday. Because if you really felt that way, you would have said it before. You're making it up. That's the truth. You're making it up to either sneak hate at Caitlin Clark or look like you care and you've been boosting these things before. Come on. Let's be real about it. And I respect all these ladies. Now, the white-black thing, when it comes to the WNBA, it needs to be pointed out. There are just more white girls who are good at basketball relative to the NBA. Because if you did the same graphic, who's the white boy with the signature shoe in the NBA? Who's the white boy? I mean, the only white guys in the NBA who belong on the same playing field as the best players are Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic, and neither of them is American. And big men have never been marketable. Luka's marketable to a certain extent. But big men, other than Shaq, because he was so charismatic and affable, no one was ever buying the Air Duncans or whatever Tim Duncan shoes were called, right? I mean, it's Anthony Edwards' shoes are marketable. So if you did a similar graphic with NBA players, it'd be all essentially black players or European players. And the only two white boys are European or Serbian, Slovenian, right, for Luka. So, I mean, like that, let's just say it works both ways. Come on. It's just disingenuous. The Breanna Stewart thing is a little, at least I can award a small point there, because she is also a big woman in the sense of she plays, a position. It's center, power forward. The types of positions that generally aren't as marketable versus, let's say, a Sabrina who plays a more marketable position. Just that translates across both, men's and women's sports, men's and women's basketball. The guards, the guys who have the ball in their hands, who are doing the fancy moves and pulling up from three and, dribble driving and dunking off the bounce, they're more marketable, more popular than a big man. It's always been the case. So, I mean, even going back to Kareem and you don't even think of Kareem in that sense. You think of Kareem as an all-time great player. I don't think of Kareem as this cultural phenomenon the way Michael Jordan was, or even Bird and Magic were. So it's just annoying. People just making up every day. We know why Caitlin Clark has the shoe deal. Stop it. Stop it. The WNBA draft ratings were up, I think, 5 times, 6 times, whatever it was. Well, let me play you 2 clips, okay? Dawn Staley. Do we all respect Dawn Staley? I would hope we all respect Dawn Staley. A great player, a great coach, okay? Here is clip number 1 of Dawn Staley talking to me about A'ja Wilson and how A'ja is the best player in the world in the league from about a year or so ago, I want to say. So let me see if I can rack this back. Get the sound. Here we go.
It's a no-brainer.
Who do you consider the best women's basketball player in the world?
There's no question. A'ja Wilson is the best player in the world. She is the WNBA Defensive Player of the Year. Coupled with her having career numbers offensively, it's a no-brainer.
So that's what Dawn Staley said, okay? Last year or whenever it was that I talked to her. And here is what Dawn Staley said today today, I don't know when it was, very recently, in a radio interview about Caitlin Clark. Okay, so if we're following me here, I would hope we all respect Dawn Staley as a voice in this regard.
People are hating on Caitlin Clark. I think it was more respect for the history of the game. So I think it comes from that perspective, because when you think of some of the greats, because when you throw around the greatest college basketball player ever, I think of Breanna Stewart, who won 4 championships. I do. Like, I'm never going to forget that, because she banged it on our head all 4 years. And then when I think about Caitlin Clark, I do think she's one of the greatest. Like, she's the greatest of her time. That's how she's the greatest of her time. And I want women's basketball to grow. And I'm not too shy about saying why it grows. She's made it grow over the past 2 years. And I'm actually going to go back to her freshman year, when she was killing then, when nobody wanted to talk about Caitlin Clark, because, Paige Beckers was all of that. Deserving so. But I saw Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark won my Dawn Staley Award in her freshman year, when everything was about Paige Becker. And it's nothing to take away from Paige Becker, but it's everything to say that we need to make sure that we're telling the stories of our entire game. So sometimes you have to go against the masses to really cut down and say what's happening, in real time. Caitlin Clark is the sole reason why viewership has shot through the roof for our game. Sole reason. And I think
Caitlin Clark is the sole reason why viewership has shot through the roof for our game. So, again, let me ask you, why is Caitlin Clark getting the big shoe deals? Why is Caitlin Clark getting the big attention and all that? Because she's the one bringing it. It's not any more difficult than that. Stop. And that's no diss to the other ladies who have come before. No diss to Asia, great player. No diss to Breanna Stewart, great player. UNESCO, great player. Or Cheryl Swoops, or Diana Taurasi, or Sue Bird, or Candace Parker, or Maya Moore, or whomever. Great players. But it wasn't moving like this till now. None of y'all were paying any attention to any of this till now. So stop. It's stupid. Another day, another dumbass. Come on. DSI Sahande says social media is not real life. That's true. It is true. It gives me good material, though. It does give me good material. Kevin Zwicker says it feels like people are creating fake outrage as a way to mask Clark hate. Perhaps that is the case. There's a backlash against her popularity, clearly. I mean, you clearly see that. But she ain't popular because she's white neither. Again, like I said, maybe it helps. I'm not saying it doesn't help. I'm not saying there's nothing about it that helps. But you go back through the years, Dr. J was a popular basketball player. Magic Johnson was a very popular basketball player. Michael Jordan was a global phenomenon. LeBron James is a global phenomenon. Steph Curry is a global phenomenon. None of them are white. None of them are white. It's okay. Crystal Vegan Smith says, you mentioned my comment in your last video. Just wanted to say my comments wasn't directed at you, and that was a good video. All good. The guy Common Sense also commented on the video yesterday. I used his comment as a talking point, and I appreciate that he took accountability for his comment and said it wasn't directed at me, and that he wasn't familiar with me. And then after watching, he realized I wasn't one of those people he was talking about. I get it. We all sometimes type fast or react or whatnot. I just hope you all give me a fair shot and you come back and you listen to what I have to say and hold me responsible for what I say, not what others say. But I appreciate you checking it out, and I appreciate the compliment, and thank you for rejoining the program as a result. Crazy Bear 2.0 was back in here saying, my first time watching one of your streams. I hope it's not the last time watching one of your streams. I got a lot more viewers in here who I've never seen before today. This is always a good sign. And Crystal, peace to you as well. Uh, Peter Mann says, just bought my league pass for the WNBA LA Sparks, watching from Jerusalem, Israel. I mean, look, this is real. And there isn't a phrase, a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So, you know who's going to start getting attention and benefits from Caitlin Clark? Asia Wilson. The Sparks, the Liberty, UNESCO and Stewart. The Sky, Angel Reese, now that she's out there, who's very marketable in her own right. Like I've said, Angel Reese is going to be in commercials. There's no question in my mind. Charisma out there, and you know what? So that this is all good for the sport. But let's not get it twisted about where it's coming from. And let's not twist ourselves into pretzels to make these points that are dumb. Like, no one. There was literally, I've never heard it before in my life. A single person campaigning for Asia Wilson to have a shoe deal before yesterday. Never heard it. Why weren't you buying the shoes that she was a part of? Why were the draft ratings not what they were Monday when she was drafted? Why were the WNBA finals ratings not what Caitlin Clark's first game ratings are going to be? Come on. And like I said, the media rights fees are going to go way up, and these ladies are going to get paid. And many of them who deserved attention are going to get the attention they didn't get before because of this. But y'all are full of it because you're acting like you used to watch and support when you didn't, when you just showed up because of Caitlin Clark. You just showed up because of Caitlin Clark. Now you're hating on Caitlin Clark. How does that make any sense? BT616 says, I will be flying to Chicago for the Sky vs. Fever game on July 23rd from Wellington, New Zealand. There we go. WNBA. We're getting it. We're rocking it. I will be covering the WNBA from now on. There's no doubt. It's been very good to me. Caitlin's been very good to me. And it's an underserved thing, too. Like, people, I still see it in the mainstream media. People are talking, but they're not, like, diving in. They're still, like, rehashing these old NBA talking points that are just tired. I'm going to go with the new-ish. Right? I'm going to rock the new-ish. No question. Steve Hewitt says it's like when the older kid in the family complains about how much his little bro or sis got. I mean, it's just they're just not actually paying attention to real life. And they're not being fair. They're not being genuine. It's not real. It's not real. Like it's for attention. They're doing it for attention on social media. They're doing it for attention on social media. Like, that's it. Because none of them cared before. None of them cared before. And do these ladies deserve better treatment? Yes. Do these ladies deserve more attention? Yes. It's coming. It's coming. But everybody's acting brand new because they are brand new. And that's just the truth. It's just the truth of the matter. Like, again, and even like comparing the other people that got the shoe deal versus who has the shoe deal, it's not even worth talking about because Caitlin Clark's shoe deal, there's just pennies compared to it. It doesn't even matter. Like, these other shoe deals, what were they getting? What was the cut? Nobody's getting $20 million. Sabrina has got some attention, I think. Hers have gotten some attention. But again, Sabrina also, and this is a point that translates both sports, or not both sports, same sport, but both the men and the women, where Sabrina has an engaging style of play and is more marketable. Whether she was white or black also. Like, again, in the NBA, the only two white guys I can think of that are on the same level as the best players in the league are Jokic and Luka. And I don't see anybody buying Jokic's shoes. Does Jokic even have shoes? I mean, big men just don't move the needle like that. As much respect as everybody has for his game, Luka's really the only one, and he's not American either. So if you were to tell me like who are the marketable stars in the NBA, I'm thinking of like Anthony Edwards and Steph Curry and LeBron, of course, and Ja Morant, even like a whole bunch of people that if you were to show a graphic, they're like, where's the white guy? I mean, there's just not as many white guys. And that's okay. That's how it works. If they were better, they'd be there. And when they're good enough, they're there. It's just, a little different on the women's side. The demographics are a little bit different. I mean, even though the league is still the majority black, but a lot of the more engaging players at those positions happen to be white. It is what it is. Steve Hewitt says, it seems hate brings more viewers than fans a lot of times. Either way, it helps to elevate the whole sport because while they're hating on Caitlin Clark, other ladies will get eyes on it too. Again, rising tide lifts all boats. Things will never be the same. Things just ain't the same for gangsters, as I said. Yesterday's price is not today's price. We are in a new era, a new world. The WNBA will never be the same again. It will be more popular from here on out. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. BT616, the 2024 WNBA draft can play basketball. They're marketable, likable, and effing beautiful. The number 2. Well, okay. I'm not going to objectify the women, but there are plenty of, reasons to like the women and this influx of talent. Again, Angel Reese coming in is another star, like a magnetic personality. She's different than Caitlin, where Caitlin really did it all because she's so good at basketball and so captivating at basketball. Reese is a very good basketball player, but she brings attention for other reasons too. Which is fine, which is good. All that's good for the sport. And now that people are following them from college into the league, they're going to, get more attention. Brooklyn Dark Jedi with the fire emojis. Thank you. Fire emojis to all you. Again, yesterday's show was the biggest show yet. We're growing here. We're building here. Crystal's still in the chat. I'm seeing everything snowballing. So many elements going on, whether it's negative or positive. The explosion is happening because people are constantly talking about the WNBA, which is unbelievable. And it really is. I mean, Crystal, you're very right here because if you had told me, I mean, I'm talking 2 years ago. Hell, I'm talking a year ago, pre the NCAA tournament, that the women would outrate the men in the March Madness, I would have said you were crazy. If you would have told me that I would be talking about WNBA every day for a week, I would have told you you were crazy. Guess, if everybody's crazy, you're the one who's insane. I mean, because it is what it is. And it's a new world. And, I don't know, I have a daughter, so that helps. And I've seen how much representation can matter. I really have, because I didn't think about that when I was younger, because I didn't grow up around girls. I didn't have a sister or nothing. But I've watched like some of the Marvel movies or wrestling, and she's like, where is the girl character? Which is why X-Men 97 is so good. And X-Men as a whole is so good because there's so many strong female characters in X-Men, from Storm and Jean and Rogue and on and on. And wrestling, same thing. Like the women are so strong now. So she asked, when's the girls match? She loves Bianca Belair. So that representation is important. And that helps. That helps. And then there's just like, they're objectively entertaining and good and exciting to watch. And there's no BS attached to it yet. I mean, this is the first hint of BS that we've gotten, right? Like the stuff around Caitlin Clark. Peterman says, Caitlin, Bird, Reese, Magic, Juju Watkins comes out in 2 years. Jordan, please, WNBA, don't F this up. 2.3 million watch the draft. Unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be – I think Caitlin is Jordan. Like I said, I get the Bird and Magic thing with her and Reese. I get it. And there's definitely some symmetry there in the point, right? Because of like a rivalry at the college level, a black participant, a white participant, both going to the pros at the same time. But the reason I call Caitlin Clark the Michael Jordan is because I think she's that generational figure that's shifting everything more than a partner or a contemporary. And then there happens to be other really good players who are already in the league or coming into the league, like Angel Reese, like Paige Beckers, like Juju Watkins, and it's on the up. It's on the come up. It's on the come up. BT616 says, "Men of culture appreciated what we saw at the WNBA draft 22." All right, I get what you're hitting at there, buddy. All right, guys, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and comment if you're commenting after the fact. That would be great. Also, super psyched to see how many new people are in here today. It speaks to the fact that this is growing, and it speaks to the fact I think I've hit on something here talking about this. Like I'm a hoops head. I've always been a hoops head, and I never would have thought I would be talking about women's hoops to this degree, but here I am, and I'm not going to ignore it. I'm not going to ignore what is in front of my face and obvious to see. And I like to think I've always been a little ahead of my time. And I'm not going to, I know when I see that wave cresting at the right time, and I got my surfboard riding now. Got it. Chief. Oh, let me see if I can get this right. I'm going to do my best. Okay. Chief Awanakoku. Awanakoku. Yeah. We are watching from Dubai. Looking forward to the Sparks versus Fever matchup. Nice content. Cheers from United States over here, New Jersey to Dubai. I appreciate it. I hope I did not butcher your name. I sincerely do my best. I want to get everybody's name right. I appreciate everybody from all walks of life. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you look like. I don't say that to be like, look at me, I'm a good guy. I mean, that's just the truth. It's how I came up. It's what I teach my kids. I teach my kids, you will treat everybody the same. You respect everybody. And that goes for man, woman, however you want to, identify yourself, where you're from, your skin color, where you're born, what country you're in, whatever the case may be. And I'm not saying there's anything about Dubai. It was a long way of me saying, I want to make sure I get people's names right and give you the respect you deserve in attempting to get your name right. That's all I was saying there before I went on that little soliloquy. I don't even know. Like, again, I'm going through an emotional period in my life and a rough period of my life. So I'm a little bit more tired and emotional than normal. So I apologize for any of that, but I'm always going to be authentic with you guys. And then it's added, WNBA needs to expand the roster. We need expansion teams in Nashville and Tampa. Yeah, look, I think they're going to. I think you'll see that. I think this is the beginning. This is the jump off, if you will. And everything only gets bigger from here. Everything only gets bigger from here. So if you're new to the channel, I do talk about basketball, obviously. And I'm clearly going to continue to build on this WNBA foundation and basketball foundation that I got going on. You can check out the shorts that I do and the show. As I move through the show, I'll also get to some of my other interests, which are professional wrestling, hip-hop music, and comic books, Marvel comic books and superheroes. But the formula I'm starting to see is working here is leading with the hoops and then going through and getting to those other interests. And hopefully some of you guys are along for the ride. I'll also post the shorts on all those other topics as well, which have done very well for me. And you can catch me on Denise Salcedo's YouTube channel tomorrow night reviewing SmackDown, right after SmackDown at 10 o'clock. BT616, LeBron will win this year's NBA title. Well, look, if he wins this year's NBA title, I've already said LeBron's the GOAT. I said LeBron was the best player I ever seen in 2017. It's a video that blew the hell up, 8 million Facebook views when I said that back then. I did a little press tour on Hot 97 at the time. It's what got me the SI job. I've been saying LeBron's the GOAT for a long time. I don't need to see anymore. But if he wins this year, and it's going to be a tall task, they got to beat the Denver Nuggets. I'm not picking, let me be clear, I'm not picking the Lakers to beat the Denver Nuggets. But if he does, I don't think there's even an argument for Jordan anymore. If LeBron wins, I don't even think there's an argument for Jordan anymore. Like, I think it's done. At that point, if he wins at 39 years old in season 21, to come within one ring of MJ and have gone to twice as many finals, and when you consider the fact that the KD Warriors were unbeatable anyway, Peterman says, shame on you all. Kobe is the GOAT. Much respect to the late, great Kobe Bryant. That was one of the toughest days I can remember when Kobe died. It was just a real hard day. And it's kind of messed up the discourse in a sense, just because, you know, you never want to say anything out of turn or disrespectful. But I think Kobe was the closest approximation of Michael Jordan that we've ever seen. You know, he played a very similar style and was almost as good. But LeBron was his own thing, and LeBron's just better. You know, I would take Steph also at this point personally, but I understand, you know, the argument otherwise. A couple other basketball topics. The Knicks are underdogs against Philadelphia. I know I got Knicks fans in the audience. You guys think that's fair? I mean, I guess I would say it's fair in the sense that if you had started the season and you said these two teams would be meeting in the playoffs, who would you say is the favorite? You would say the Sixers are the favorite. You know, the Sixers were expected to be the better team. And now they have Joel Embiid back. Because the only reason that the Sixers were in this position, the only reason they are in the seed that they're in, is because he was gone for so long. And Embiid and Maxey is a tough tandem to deal with. I thought the Heat were going to win that game yesterday, if I'm being real. Now, I did not know Jimmy Butler was going to get hurt in the first quarter or whenever it was. And that's a bummer. Jimmy's out for a minute now. But, you know, that's, yeah, I mean, that's where we're at with this. Kevin Zwicker says Knicks in 6. I mean, Knicks fans seem confident. We'll see. We'll see. You know, Julius Randle being out is a big blow to the Knicks. I think that might show itself in the playoffs. But Jalen Brunson's the dog. He's going to score. It should be a good series. I do see that being a long series. I think that's a 6 or 7 game series, regardless, either way it goes. Kevin also adds, I was a Bron hater for the longest, but I give it up to him now. He's the GOAT. That's why I like you, Kevin. You're reasonable. You can shift your position. You can, you know, be honest with yourself and others. And I appreciate that. Chief, I want to, Coco is back. Say, question 20, over under for Caitlin Clark. I have 20 points and 6 assists. Let me look at last year's stats real quick. WNBA leading scorers, because I want to see relative to last year what I think. Those actually feel low to me. I think she'll be over both those numbers. Joelle Lloyd and Brianna Stewart were up at 24.7, 23 points a game. Asia was at 23 points a game. I think she'll be over those numbers. I do. I don't think there's going to be an adjustment period for her. I've seen enough. I think the one thing she needs to work on is her mid-range game a little bit. That could help. But yeah. James Eddington says hi. Hello. Another one. We got the. Is that a popular YouTube thing? The glasses on the book. But I want to make sure I say hello to all the newcomers today. A lot of newcomers into the stream today. Very cool. Very cool. Welcome. Let me know what you guys think. And all that. Peterman says Caitlin Clark will average 11 to 12 assists, but the points will be down. She has shooters around her. 11 or 12 assists is a lot. I would say it's more like 21, 22 points and 8 assists, something like that. He also adds, should the Bucks bring Giannis or shut him down? You remember what happened to KD when the Warriors brought him back too soon? I think, I pulled my calf muscle running in Central Park like 20 years ago, and it's still not healed. Those soft tissue injuries in the back of the leg, they last a long time. It's tough. They last a long time. So I'm not so sure that that he's going to be ready for that series at all. Which leads me into the thing with the Nets. I saw the reports about the Nets today and how they're approaching things. And we've gone over this on the show a little bit, but they have those valuable draft picks. Those Suns picks are basically utter gold. And Donovan Mitchell, if he becomes available, but what if Giannis were to become available? I mean, it seems like the Nets' plan of attack is to reset the books in 2025 when everything is clear. But maybe I was a little bit and Nets fans in general overreacted to how bad their situation was, because they do have that flexibility of waiting for things to reset or pushing some of the chips into the table to get better quickly. So I could see that happening as well. He says, just sadly, the Nets abandoned New Jersey. I saw the Nets jerseys were the most searched. Is that true? Somebody has to back that up, because it seems nuts that would be the case. I guess, the Nets have the freshest. They have the freshest gear in the league. The Nets stuff is ill. It's sick. But like buying a Ben Simmons jersey, I don't know. I don't know about that. James Eddington says Caitlin and Aaliyah is going to be a problem for the other teams. I like this duo. I'm with you there. That is a nice complementary games, right? Like those games work well together. I think that will be a problem for other teams as we're heading in. Like this is gonna be nice because I'm gonna have the NBA playoffs for the show and then the WNBA season starting. I'm gonna ride that. I'll get Ryan Rucco on the show. For those of you who watch the WNBA, obviously you're familiar with him, I'm sure. For those of you who don't know me until now, he and I used to do a radio show together. We're texting back and forth all the time. He's a busy guy, though, so I try not to, be too annoying about like requesting him to come on the show. And then Michael Angelo Leoncello says probably Brooklyn name for fashion. Oh, for the jerseys. Well, the fashion and the gear, look, right? Like the color schemes match everything. You can wear it. My hair looks awful, but you can match it with everything. And that's the coolest thing about the Nets, and I think the smartest thing that they ever did when they went out to Brooklyn is that gear, the color scheme. Like it's just ill. No offense to the Knicks, I'm not dissing, but you can't just be wearing orange and blue all around unless you're repping the Knicks. You're repping the Knicks. You can wear Nets stuff without repping the Nets. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I think you understand the point I'm making. Peterman says Cardoso, Angel Reese, Kia Jackson, Brinks, Sparks are better duos. Oh, the Sky. Sorry, I read that quickly. The Sky duo and the Sparks duo are better duos. I don't know. One of them has Caitlin Clark. Like Cardoso and Angel Reese are kind of similar in a sense. I don't think they balance each other as well. Like James Eddington said, just like Malone and Stockton, now we got Aaliyah and Caitlin. I think their games are very complementary. So I would agree with Mr. Eddington and his glasses on the book. Sivin, you got to tell me how to pronounce your first name because you're commenting here all the time. I want to make sure I get that right. Maybe we've been over this before, but just in case. I wouldn't count out Caitlin's scoring. She's too used to having to create to not have a shot clock violation. She didn't see anyone else create until the 2024 postseason. Yeah, that's true. But BT 616 counters that comment saying the defense is tougher in the WNBA compared to college. 25-7 sounds about right. Eddington's back in here saying, did you hear Washington move their arena to the big arena, which sold 20,000. Dallas. Look, they're all going to have to move into bigger arenas for this women's demand that's coming, this WNBA demand that's coming. They're going to need to be in bigger arenas. Gualberto Garcia, the WNBA still has an old mentality. They can't let it go. Another new commenter, I believe. We'll see. We'll see. I think they have to realize it. They got to see it. They got to see it. Like it's just impossible to fumble this. It's just impossible to fumble this. You could give this to anybody, and they should be able to. You can't blow the layup. They got a layup on their hands. They should be able to mark this. They should be able to capitalize on it. This should be, when we look back, we will look back and say, this is the moment everything changed. We will. I have no doubt in my mind. I see it now. And the people who are still in the comments going, well, no one will ever care. They're wrong. They're wrong. Dallas better move the game to Jerry World. Speaking of stadiums, yeah, WWE is in stadiums, and AEW was in Wembley. For those of you who are new to the show, I also talk some wrestling on here, some hip-hop on here, some comic book stuff on here after leading with basketball. I saw the Forbes valuation for AEW today at $2 billion. I don't know, what that means exactly. I think the new media rights deal for AEW will be important. I think that will show their long-term sustainability. But it's impressive. It's impressive that they're where they are now, having, only started a few years ago. So congrats to them for that. I mean, we know how hot the WWE is right now. I shared that tweet from Fanatics yesterday about WWE's business, and I was just at WrestleMania. I mean, you could see it. You could feel it. The energy is crazy around wrestling in WWE right now. And then there was the other story with AEW. I don't know if you guys saw this with Nyla Rose, the AEW star, transgender star, where the athletic commission of Oklahoma State wrote like a letter to AEW warning them about not having her compete, this is just a stupid controversy. Because if we're circling back to Dawn Staley, and Dawn Staley was asked that question at by Outkick at the press conference about I want to phrase this delicately, because I will call anybody how they want to be called. Anybody can identify themselves however they want to identify themselves. I have no problem with that. I am one of the people who would say I understand and may also disagree with a biological male competing in a female sport because of there are differences between men and women. Now, I'm not a scientist. I haven't studied how, some of the hormone changing things can take effect and the like. So I would defer to people who know better than that. But just knowing that, you say don't punch a girl, right? Like these things are you shouldn't punch anybody. But there are differences between men and women in general, like physically scientific differences between men and women. I have no problem saying that because it's true. So I don't want anyone discriminated against. And I want everybody to be able to live their lives and thrive. But in a legitimate sporting competition, I don't know if a biological male should be competing against a biological female, vice versa. However, this just feels like hate, because we're talking about pro wrestling, which is not an actual competition. So who gives? China was going against men. They've teased Rhea Ripley going against men. So that, to me, is just pure hate from the Oklahoma State Athletic Commission. Not reasoned, a reasoned point of view. Like a reasoned point of view is in a legitimate competition, maybe a biological male shouldn't be allowed to compete against females. But it's just hate to say a transgender professional wrestler who's part of a show can't compete. So That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not trying to make anybody upset or say anything out of turn. Again, I want everybody to live their life and have their peace and their freedom. And I'll call you however you want to be identified. I'll address you however you want to be identified. I will respect you. But I just also think about reality and science and stuff. Like, it's okay. And I hope I express myself. You know what? I'm confident. I know I can express myself in the correct ways, and that people get where I'm coming from. Kevin Zwicker says the media rights deal will be huge for AEW, especially if WBD loses the NBA. Yes, I agree. I think the media rights deal is the single most important thing for AEW's future. The single most important thing. And that will actually tell us how healthy the company is or isn't going forward, how sustainable it is or isn't going forward, one way or the other, either in the positive or the negative. I'm not saying which. I'm just saying I agree with you. Speaking of media rights deals, BT616 says the WNBA new TV deal is in 2025. They better not fumble this golden opportunity. They're not. They can't. You can't fumble it. It's impossible to fumble it. It's impossible. I'm not sure. Here's another new commenter. I'm not sure how to say your first name. Jinkaze E is my best attempt. Inkaze E, in case the J is silent. People are now starting to blame black men, saying we caping for Caitlin Clark. This is getting frustrating. I mean, no one's caping for Caitlin Clark. It's just obvious. It's anybody who's saying otherwise is out of their minds. Just tell them that. You tell them you deal in reality. And the reality is more people are watching women's basketball now because of Caitlin Clark. More people are tuning into the WNBA draft or tuned into the WNBA draft by a however many fold increase because of Caitlin Clark. More people watch the women's national championship than the men's national championship because of Caitlin Clark. That's the reason Caitlin Clark got the big shoe deal. That's the reason Caitlin Clark was on Saturday Night Live. That's the reason the WNBA is going to be more popular now because of Caitlin Clark, which is going to help everybody else. So just tell them you deal in reality. And you're not trying to look like you're self-righteous or whatever. Again, people are acting brand new because they are brand new. I never saw a damn person saying any of this stuff before. I never saw anybody saying this stuff before. James Eddington says Indiana has 36 out of 40 televised games. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Michael Angelo Leoncello says Andy Kaufman. I guess that's a callback to what I was saying about the pro wrestling thing. A couple other thoughts or things I could share because I saw some of this in the lead up to this show. But I wonder what people think about this Kendrick Lamar. How many classics Kendrick Lamar has? Here's the tweet from Fresh Out Hip Hop. No skips. How many classic albums does Kendrick Lamar really have? I would say 2. I would say Good Kid, Mad City, and Damn are both classics. There's an argument to be made for To Pimp a Butterfly. I don't like it enough personally to consider it a classic. I think the thing about Kendrick is every project he's dropped has been super interesting and ambitious. And that's where I get the respect and I give him the respect. Peterman says Kendrick is not even top 15. Stop playing, Rom. Yes, he is now. He is sure as hell top 15 now. That's where the respect I have for him is. He's a true artist in that sense. So I would say 2. I liked Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I'd give that 4 mics. I'd give Butterfly personally 3.5 mics, but King Kunta might get it to 4 mics just on its own. And then 5 mics for Damn and Good Kid, Mad City. And then if you want to include like Section 80, that was cool. And Black Panther was cool. And what was the unreleased thing? He says, where am I ranking Kendrick all time? At this point, after this battle, if he comes through and crushes the buildings, I would say he's top 5. or at worst top 10. He's at worst top 10. And he's making a case for top 5 to me. Again, I love Kevin because he is objective. He says he has 3. Good Kid, Mad City, Damn, and To Pimp a Butterfly. Look, To Pimp a Butterfly might be a classic in the overall realm. It's not a personal classic for me. So that's why I say 2. But I get it. I get it. BT616 says, I pray this wonderful WNBA draft 2024 stay the F away from politics and social. You know, I think, well, look, I think when people have something to say, they should say it. I wouldn't censor them. I also think if they're like me, it just feels like pointless now. Like, it's like we're past these, like, I don't know. During COVID, I realized everybody was insane. And we just, everybody got so cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs that I stopped having the passion that I had for some of those conversations because I think they got hijacked by bad actors and the like. But if I see a wrong, I'm going to say that I see a wrong. If I have a point of view, I'm going to state my point of view. But I think that should come, you know, naturally and organically. And I think we've also seen a movement away from that in sports in general. I mean, the person I see the most with their opinions blasted everywhere is Aaron Rodgers talking about who knows what out there. Yankee Tango says the old heads in the WNBA are stuck in the past. Caitlin, along with Angel, will quite possibly the magic bird for the WNBA if they just let them play the game. Yeah, I didn't understand some of the hate that's coming from some of the greats, to be honest with you, because this is good for the game. There should be no hate. This should only be love. This should only be love. I don't see how anybody who loves women's sports and women's basketball could see this and go against it. I don't. It's for real. This is a moment in time. It's a moment in time that we're in. Peterman says, wait, Tupac, Biggie, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, Eminem, who are you taking out for Kendrick? I'd put Kendrick over Wayne personally. Pac and Biggie also don't have that much of a catalog. But Pac, Biggie, Hove. I mean, Hove's number 1. Wayne, Eminem, Kendrick. Snoop has to be in there, even though he's not my personal favorite. But Rakim, I would put in that top 10. For the way Nas, I would put in the top 10. So you can shuffle them around a little bit. But, you know, Kim Kelly says, I think it's jealousy. Maybe there's some of that. Maybe there is some of that. Like, why didn't we get this attention? Why is everybody just now coming around? But Diana Taurasi is nice. She was nice. I love watching her play. Probably my favorite. Her and Sue Bird were my favorite players before Caitlin Clark. So I don't like seeing the hate come from her. And she probably was underappreciated. A lot of these ladies were underappreciated. Right? Like, we're seeing that now. A lot of them were underappreciated. But again, we can't act brand new about it when we are brand new about it, when people are coming in and acting like they were supporting in the past when they weren't. You know, and that's the problem. People were not supporting in the past. People were not buying and watching and doing all this stuff in the past. And now they're pretending like they were because Caitlin Clark's getting this attention. That's really the truth of the matter. Again, the WNBA had better not blow this. They won't. They won't. There was one other hip-hop thing I saw today, since I'm a big Jay-Z fan, for anybody who doesn't know that, but or is new to me. On this day in 2003, he dropped the S. Carter Collection mixtape. That, along with Mood Music 2 by Joe Budden, are probably my 2 favorite mixtapes. Like, give me that beat, fool. It's a full-time jack move. Don't worry, Skate. I'll give it back soon. The B2K joint on there. That joint goes hard. If you haven't seen it. Kendrick over Lil Wayne. Robin needs to be drug tested. I prefer Kendrick to Wayne. Weezy, no disrespect to Weezy. But I think Kendrick's substance is better than Wayne's. I prefer his substance. So there you have it. My man Goldberto, you're saying the same thing. WNBA better not blow this situation. We got it, dude. Yankee Tango, yes, they were underappreciated, but one would think that the veterans would be welcoming, not trying to bury her already. Caitlin jersey's sold out already. Her shoe deal will be very popular. No question. No question. I'm thinking about I'll buy the shoes. The jersey's not even going to be restocked till August, I think they said. It's nuts. I haven't checked the numbers on this show, but judging from the new comments, this one's going to, we're coming off the biggest show I've ever done. Thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. And, I should thank Caitlin Clark for that also. Should send her a bouquet. But for those of you who don't know, you can check out the channel. I post shorts all the time. These streams come to you at least Monday through Thursday. I've been doing some bonus episodes on Fridays as well. This has been about the time that I've gone live. But, it's a work in progress. I started this channel just a few months back when my professional situation got thrown topsy-turvy, both as an outlet for me and as a future outlet for me, both possibly down the line economically, but more creatively and therapeutically and content-wise. And y'all have come. So thank you. I've reconnected with a bunch of old listeners. Obviously, I'm welcoming in a bunch of new viewers and new listeners. I do repurpose this on Apple and Spotify. I also, you can check me out I'm on all the social platforms, but this is very touching. Everybody that's hopped in here, I won't ignore that. So I don't know if I'll have a show tomorrow. I might. I'll definitely have a show Monday if I don't have a show tomorrow. I'll see how tomorrow looks. If I could throw a bonus episode out there for you, I will. But I will definitely be back Monday if I'm not back. Tomorrow, I will be on Denise's channel, Denise Salcedo, tomorrow night. Kim Kelly says, I found you by accident, but I like it. Hey, I don't care how you found me. As long as you enjoy and you stick around, I will respond to the comments, as you can see. Peter Man says, no more hip-hop rap takes. You're going to make me unsubscribe. Hey, that's part of the debate, man. You want to come on and argue with me? I'll send you the link right now. We can argue real fast. Let me know how to send it to you. I'm not shy. We can, we can have at it. Kevin Zwicker says, Rob, do you think the Drake versus Kendrick battle losing steam since the Kendrick camp is being so quiet and he's not really? No. So, no, I don't think it is. Drake took more than 2 weeks to respond. Kendrick, it hasn't even been a week. And Like That is still knocking. And Like That's still all over the charts. Drake didn't even officially drop his track, and he took longer to respond. When Kendrick comes, we're going to know about it, and it's going to stomp like Godzilla's foot. We're going to hear it. There ain't going to be no mistaking it. It's going to go. So, no, I think the steam will be put right back in the second K-Dot drops. The second K-Dot drops. BT616 says, my mother played basketball for Tennessee, and she's all emotional right now because of the growth of the game. Shouts to your moms and all the ladies who have come before, the pioneers. I'm not disrespecting the pioneers. Again, the title of this show may bring people in thinking that. I'm not disrespecting Asia Wilson either. No diss to her. Great player. No diss to her. Great player. All I'm saying is I didn't hear a single person campaigning for her shoe deal until yesterday. Never once in my life did I hear all these people who all of a sudden are, marching for that cause weren't there. We all know why Caitlin Clark got the shoe deal that she got. She's the one that's bringing in the eyeballs. She's the one that's brought the attention to the sport. She's the reason the draft numbers were up. She's the reason the college numbers were up. She's the reason the WNBA numbers are going to be up. She's the reason the media rights deal is going to be up. Her jersey is the one that's sold out. That's why she was on Saturday Night Live and nobody else. That's why she's got the shoe deal to this degree that nobody else has. I don't care about, you can put the other girls in the picture with her. Nobody's got a shoe deal like her. And it's a simple reason. Doesn't take any explaining. It's easy and plain to see. And everybody is just pretending like it's not what it is. Everybody's just pretending like it's not what it is. Remember when LeBron first went to Cleveland, he got the same kind of, he got the hate when he went to Miami. I don't remember LeBron, he got the real hate when he went to Miami. And then he started getting the more hate when he, was threatening Jordan. That's where a lot of that LeBron hate comes from. The Miami move and then threatening Jordan. That's about it. Kevin Zwicker says that size 7 ain't stopping another. Who cares how big? Like Kendrick being small doesn't do anything for me. I don't know. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. A lot of new listeners in here today, I can tell. If you got any more comments, I will take a few more comments. But otherwise, that's what I had planned for the show today. Like I said, there's a chance I could get a bonus show in tomorrow. I don't know. If I did, it would be in the afternoon. But Monday through Thursday, there will be a show. Monday through Thursday around this time. I announce it if I'm doing it at another time. And this has been a big week for the show. So thank you to all the old listeners and old viewers who have come back. Thank you. To all the new listeners and new viewers, thank you. Welcome. I hope you enjoy what you see. I'm always going to keep it real. I will respond. I will share your comments on the screen. I'll bring people on. I will comment after the fact. Peterman says, Shalom, Robin. Yankee Tango shares 17,000 folks at the arena for the watch party for the draft just last Monday. That is the truth. I mean, it don't get more simple than that. It's simple and plain. All right. If I'm not back tomorrow, I hope you all have a great weekend. And thank you so much for checking out the channel. Please like, subscribe, share, and all that. And if you comment after the fact, I will get back. Until then, when it will be the same Robin channel.